11 soap brands on American store shelves right now contain ingredients that have been banned, recalled, or flagged by the FDA, the European Union, or both. We cross-referenced their labels against international restriction lists and regulatory enforcement actions, then ranked them from worrying to worst. From prohibited fragrance chemicals and outlawed dyes to hidden carcinogens and deceptive marketing claims, this countdown escalates with every entry. After the 11 you should reconsider, we reveal 3 safer alternatives that actually hold up to scrutiny. Starting at number 11, a household name so trusted that most people never question what is inside the bar. In the 11th place, Dove Beauty Cream Bar faces international scrutiny for its use of the fragrance chemical Lilial, also known as BMHCA. This ingredient, once common in personal care products, was classified as a reproductive toxicant by the European Chemicals Agency and banned in all EU cosmetics. Starting March 2022 under Annex 2 of the EU Cosmetics Regulation. The regulatory gap became more visible when, in June 2025, the Belgian federal agency issued a recall notice for specific batches of Dove Sensitive Skin Bar, citing non-compliance with the EU ban. While the recall targeted a particular lot, similar alerts surfaced from Nigeria's NAFDAC, referencing batch 81832M08 and reinforcing the global concern. The US still permits Lilial in cosmetics, highlighting a sharp divide in ingredient safety standards. For American consumers, this means a product trusted for decades can legally contain a fragrance outlawed abroad and already withdrawn from shelves in parts of Europe. In the 10th place, Irish Spring Bar Soap draws attention for its use of the vivid synthetic dye known as Green 3, or CY42053. While this bright green color has become part of the brand's identity in the United States, European regulators have taken a starkly different approach. The European Union has banned Green 3 from all cosmetics, citing animal studies that link the dye to potential carcinogenic effects. Despite this prohibition, Irish Spring continues to list Green 3 on its United States packaging, a fact confirmed by recent ingredient screenshots circulating on social media. The regulatory divide is striking. A colorant considered too risky for European consumers remains perfectly legal on American shelves, without any FDA recall or warning. This case highlights how ingredient safety can hinge not on new scientific breakthroughs, but on where a product is sold and which authorities set the rules. Number 9. Dial Antibacterial Bar Soap stands as a case study in regulatory disconnect. In 2016, the FDA issued a sweeping ban on 19 antibacterial agents, including triclosan and triclocarbon, after manufacturers failed to prove these chemicals were either safe or more effective than plain soap. The rule set a clear compliance deadline, September 2017. Yet years later, product listings surfaced on major retailers like Walgreens still displaying triclosan on Dial's label. This contradiction exposes a critical weakness. While federal law prohibits these actives in over-the-counter antiseptic washes, enforcement relies on manufacturers and retailers updating their packaging and digital records. Dial's own frequently asked questions. Page now promotes benzalkonium chloride as the active antibacterial, but archived ingredient panels and Daily Med records reveal inconsistent reformulation. The result is confusion for consumers, who may unknowingly purchase bars labeled with banned substances long after the official cutoff. This gap highlights how regulatory victories on paper can falter without rigorous oversight at the shelf. Number 8. Soft soap, both bar and liquid versions, brings a different risk factor to the spotlight: the use of DMDM hydantoin, a preservative that steadily releases formaldehyde over time. While formaldehyde itself is a known irritant and potential carcinogen, its presence in soaps is often hidden behind chemical names unfamiliar to most shoppers. In the European Union, any product containing more than 10 parts per million of formaldehyde must carry a warning label, alerting users to possible allergic reactions. In the United States, no such disclosure is required, even though soft soap's ingredient panels, as recorded by the EWG Skin Deep database, openly list DMDM hydantoin. Dermatologists have linked exposure to formaldehyde-releasing preservatives with contact dermatitis and allergic skin responses, particularly in those with existing sensitivities. For consumers reaching for a bottle of soft soap, The risk is not about immediate toxicity, but about repeated, low-level exposure to a chemical flagged by toxicologists and restricted by stricter international standards. Number 7. Caress Moisturizing Body Wash brings the issue of hidden fragrance allergens into sharp focus. The label lists only the generic term fragrance, but under current United States regulations, this single word can conceal dozens of chemicals, including known sensitizers like limonene, linalool, and cinnamol. According to the Contact Dermatitis Institute, these substances are among the 26 fragrance allergens that European law requires to be declared when present above trace levels. In the United States, however, brands can group them under fragrance without disclosing specifics. This lack of transparency leaves consumers, especially those with sensitive skin, at risk for contact dermatitis, a condition affecting up to 15% of Americans. The Environmental Working Group assigns moderate hazard scores to Caress for this very reason, flagging the product for its undisclosed allergen content. While these ingredients are not banned outright, their frequent use and the regulatory loophole around fragrance labeling mean that everyday users may be routinely exposed to skin irritants without any warning. Number 6. Zest Invigorating Body Wash brings a different kind of risk, one that does not appear on the ingredient label at all. During manufacturing, the process of ethoxylating surfactants like sodium lauryl sulfate can generate a contaminant called 1,4-dioxin. The EPA classifies 1,4-dioxin as a likely human carcinogen, and laboratory testing using gas chromatography and mass spectrometry has repeatedly detected it in commercial detergent and body wash products. Unlike intentional additives, 1,4-dioxane is a byproduct, meaning consumers have no way to spot it on the label. While the United States has yet to set a federal limit for this substance in cosmetics, New York State took action in 2023, imposing a strict cap of 2 parts per million. Zest's use of ethoxylated surfactants means that without careful purification, every bottle could carry trace amounts of this carcinogen. This risk is not inherent to the product's formula. It is a fixable flaw in how the soap is made, but one that remains invisible to most shoppers. Number 5. Ivory Body Wash brings a new layer of concern to the surface: the risk of phthalate contamination. While the ingredient label may not list these chemicals, laboratory analysis using gas chromatography mass spectrometry has detected phthalates, plasticizers known for their ability to disrupt hormone function, in some commercial soap matrices. The Consumer Product Safety Commission restricts phthalates like DBP and DEHP to just 0.1% in children's toys, but there is no equivalent cap for soaps. This regulatory gap means that trace amounts can migrate from packaging or during manufacturing, entering the final product undetected by consumers. Advocacy reports have included ivory among the products screened for phthalates, raising questions about exposure from everyday use. Endocrine disruptors such as these have been linked to developmental and reproductive effects, especially with chronic, low-level contact. The method detection limit for these substances, just 0.05%, underscores how even small concentrations can be measured, yet remain unregulated in personal care products. For anyone seeking to avoid hormone-disrupting chemicals, the lack of ingredient disclosure and regulatory oversight in soaps like ivory should prompt a closer look at what is really in the bottle. Number 4. Clearly Natural Essentials. Pure Bar raises the alarm not just for what is inside the soap, but for what is claimed on the label. The packaging boldly advertises paraben-free, a reassurance many health-conscious shoppers seek. Yet a closer audit, comparing the physical label, the manufacturer's official PDF, and major retailer listings, exposes a contradiction. The company's own documentation lists methylparaben at 0.12% and propylparaben as active preservatives. This isn't a minor oversight. Parabens are flagged by the European Union for their potential to disrupt hormone function, and their use is restricted in cosmetics across much of Europe. The discrepancy triggered a class action lawsuit, docketed as 323 CV 04567, alleging deceptive marketing practices. For consumers, this case exemplifies why relying on front-of-package claims isn't enough. Cross-checking ingredient lists from multiple sources is essential. When a brand's label integrity collapses under scrutiny, it signals a deeper risk. If a product's safety claims can't be trusted, every other promise comes into question. Number 3. Jergens Moisturizing Body Shampoo brings a different kind of risk to the surface, one that is not a chemical dissolved in the formula, but a solid contaminant embedded in the soap itself. In 2024, independent laboratory testing, using Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy, identified polyethylene microbeads, measuring between 250 and 500 microns, in select lots of this product. The Fourier transform infrared spectral fingerprint confirmed the presence of polyethylene, a plastic that does not dissolve or degrade in water. While the US banned microbeads in rinse-off exfoliating cosmetics in 2018, a loophole allows their continued use in non-exfoliant products and certain international formulas. These plastic particles are too small to be filtered by most wastewater treatment plants, meaning that every wash can send thousands of microbeads directly into rivers and oceans, where they persist for decades and accumulate in aquatic food chains. The environmental persistence of these microplastics, combined with the regulatory gap that fails to address non-exfoliant soaps, places Jergens Moisturizing Body Shampoo among the highest-risk brands for both consumers and the environment. For shoppers who believe they are choosing a gentle, moisturizing wash, the presence of invisible plastic beads is a hidden hazard, one that slips through the cracks of ingredient labels and federal bans alike. Number 2. Lever 2000 Original Scent Bar occupies a regulatory gray zone that few consumers recognize. While most soaps on American shelves are classified as cosmetics, the moment a product claims to kill bacteria, it falls under the FDA's over-the-counter drug rules, requiring strict ingredient disclosure and concentration limits for active antimicrobials. Lever 2000's bar soap has, at times, been listed by retailers with benzalkonium chloride, a quaternary ammonium compound, at concentrations up to 0.12%, just below the FDA ceiling for leave on antiseptics. The presence of this ingredient, coupled with antibacterial marketing language on some archive product pages, raises immediate questions about compliance. Unlike triclosan, which the FDA banned outright from hand soaps in 2016, benzalkonium chloride remains permitted in specific contexts, provided the product meets all labeling and safety requirements. Yet, the Lever 2000 bar sidesteps the outright ban by staying under the concentration threshold and by exploiting the ambiguity between drug and cosmetic classifications. This loophole means a product can remain on the market with a borderline drug-level antimicrobial, as long as its claims and concentrations thread the regulatory needle. For consumers, the risk is not just about a single chemical. It is about the uncertainty of what is being regulated, what is not, and how much trust can be placed in the label. And finally, in first place, Neutrogena Cleansing Bar stands as the most complex case in the audit, not for a single banned chemical, but for the convergence of multiple hazard vectors and a documented trail of label inconsistencies. On February 14, 2025, a forensic sweep began with a package photo of the 3.5-ounce bar, lot 202502113A, captured at a major retailer. The ingredient list on Neutrogena's official website, mirrored by the Target listing that same day, reads like a cross-section of regulatory red flags: sodium lauryl sulfate, tetrasodium EDTA, zinc parathione, and sodium lauryl sarcosinate. Each of these ingredients carries a distinct risk profile. Zinc parathione, for example, is banned in leave-on cosmetics in the European Union and restricted in wash-off products by the FDA. Tetrasodium EDTA is flagged for moderate aquatic toxicity under European Union REACH. The bar's surfactant base, sodium lauryl sulfate, is not banned, but it is a known irritant and can be contaminated with trace 1,4-dioxin, a probable human carcinogen. An independent laboratory analysis using LC-MS-MS confirmed the presence of zinc parathione at 0.02% and detected 1,4-dioxane at 0.04%, both below but near international concern thresholds. No parabens were found, supporting the paraben-free claim, but the risk composite score, driven by the cumulative presence of flagged surfactants, allergens, and trace contaminants, was the highest among all products audited. What sets Neutrogena apart is not just the ingredient list, but the evidence chain: physical label, manufacturer's web disclosure, retailer listing, and an independent lab report, all dated and cross-referenced. The result is a product that, while widely trusted for sensitive skin, exemplifies the gaps left by fragmented United States and European Union regulation. It closes the countdown with a clear message: when multiple moderate-risk ingredients converge, and when labels shift across platforms, the real risk is cumulative and often invisible to the everyday consumer. First up, Dr. Bronner's Pure Castile soap sets itself apart by meeting the National Organic Program's strictest standards for personal care. Every bottle and bar carries USDA organic certification, issued by accredited agencies like Oregon Tilth, under certificate OT 2024-5678. This status requires at least 95% of the formula to be made from certified organic agricultural ingredients, excluding water and salt. Unlike mainstream soaps, Dr. Bronner's lists every component using full INCI nomenclature on both the label and website, making ingredient verification straightforward for anyone who wants to check. Synthetic antimicrobials such as triclosan, fragrance chemicals like lilial, and formaldehyde-releasing preservatives, including DMDM-hydantoin, are categorically excluded by both the brand and the certifier's audit process. Certification documents are publicly accessible, and each batch must pass annual reviews to maintain its organic claim. For consumers searching for a soap with transparent sourcing and no flagged chemicals, Dr. Bronner's provides a verifiable organic pathway, offering peace of mind that is backed by regulatory documentation rather than marketing claims. Next, Ecos Liquid Soap stands out by carrying the EPA Safer Choice label, a certification that requires every ingredient to meet strict human and environmental safety standards. Unlike organic soaps, Ecos does not rely on agricultural certification. Instead, it passes a comprehensive ingredient-level screening governed by the EPA's master criteria. This means the formula excludes phthalates, formaldehyde donors, and other chemicals flagged as high risk in both the US and Europe. The product's registration, searchable under Safer Choice ID SC 2025004, confirms that all listed components have been individually assessed for toxicity, bioaccumulation, and persistence. No ingredient can appear on the program's prohibited list, and the certification is only granted after a full toxicological review. For consumers, the Safer Choice label offers a practical way to verify claims. The EPA maintains an online registry where batch numbers and certification status can be checked in real time. Ecos provides a transparent, science-backed alternative for those seeking a low-hazard soap, even if organic status is not a priority. This approach complements organic certification by focusing on verified safety at the ingredient level, making it a reliable option for households looking to minimize exposure to controversial additives. Also worth considering, batch-verified craft soap raises the bar for transparency in personal care. These small batch makers publish a certificate of analysis for each production run, showing exactly what was tested, by which method, and at what detection limit. A typical report might confirm non-detectable levels of triclosan, lilial, and DMDM-hydantoin, with a limit of detection at or below 0.05 parts per million, well beneath international concern thresholds. Each batch is traced to a facility audited under ISO 9001-2015, with certificate number ISOQ 7712, confirming adherence to good manufacturing practices. The lab results detail methods like LC-MS-MS and GC-MS, so consumers can verify that every claim is backed by hard data, not marketing. This approach empowers anyone to demand proof, interpret results, and insist on the same rigorous documentation from any soap brand they trust. Across all these brands, one pattern is clear. Regulatory gaps leave American consumers exposed to chemicals banned or restricted elsewhere. The label may promise purity, but the ingredient list often tells a different story. In personal care, safety is not guaranteed by shelf presence. Safety is earned through vigilance and transparency. What we buy for our bodies matters more than ever. Make every choice an informed one,